how come the dramas tend to do so well, and unki following dunya bhar mein hai, itni zyada hai.
Yeah.
And the films,
so
they don't. I mean, we were all so excited about a certain film that just released, and I mean, for the lack of a better word, it was a disappointment for everyone.
Yeah.
So wahan pe what's going wrong with the films? Because you also told me off camera that you are working on a bunch of films.
Yeah.
So kya hai?
अच्छा, प्रिंसिपल डिफरेंसेस हैं मेरे मीडियम्स के साथ. हमारी वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट द फिल्म इज़ अ डिफरेंट मीडियम ऑल टुगेदर. टेलीविजन इज़ अ डिफरेंट मीडियम ऑल टुगेदर. वी कांट see them interchangeably. Number one. Number two, the reason why we are doing so well in the drama industry is because we are doing it a lot.
Right.
So it's just practicing. For example, it's like with any other state functionary. For example, within our state, there are certain organizations which are doing phenomenally well, and there are other organizations, even being a part of the same structure, they're not performing.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम and welcome to the Pakistan Observer podcast. मेरा नाम अब्दुल्ला मलिक है और मेरे साथ आज मौजूद हैं Ahmad Taha Ghani. Ahmad, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to Pakistan Observer.
Thank you.
Ahmad, I want to start off with understanding कि एक day in Ahmad's life these days, what is it looking like?
Okay, so my responses generally are very calculated. I take a little time for my brain to process questions and then answer. I don't want to just shoot it straight away, but so my days when I'm not shooting, it's quite different, and when I'm shooting, it's quite different. So so we're going to go with the days that I'm not shooting. So it starts usually around, I think, 9:30. Then I go to my different businesses. I look after them. Then in the evening I go to the gym. I come back home and I sleep.
Right.
Yeah. So do you know, and I think we've all grown up knowing very famous characters like SpongeBob and Patrick.
Of course.
So I'm basically Patrick when it comes to being a human being. Yeah. I live under a rock. I love my rock and I love my bubble, and that's where I stay.
Okay.
Well, I'm not shooting. And I do not, generally have a very big social life. I don't hang out around. I mean, we had a conversation, और आपको लगा भी होगा कि my personality is completely of an extrovert, but it's really not like that. It's really not like that. I'm very grey when it's usually, 9 to 5 जिस तरह की होती है. That's generally my daily life when I'm not shooting. And when I am shooting, then my days start usually around 7:30.
Okay.
Because normally I don't get to train after my shoot. So I wake up early, I go to the gym, then we are usually at the set around 10 a.m. and then we come back at home around 10 p.m. at night.
It's a long day.
It's a very long day generally. But usually my days are spread like that. I'm even though I love my rock, but it's very oxymoronic. But at the same time, as much as I like to stay under my rock, I don't get to spend too much time in my rock.
Right.
Yeah.
And amidst all of this, chaos and controlled chaos as well, what does Ahmed do for himself? Apne liye, to keep yourself sane, what are some of those things that you do for yourself?
Okay, so I usually do a lot of research on a lot of random stuff. It's not specifically on a specific topic. I just like reading about random stuff. What's happening in the space? What's happening in the religion sphere? What's happening in technology?
Right.
I just keep knowing, and it's not like I'm not looking out for information on a specific topic. I'm just generally browsing for information. That's what I do. Or I love making music. If I'm not, if I have some spare time to myself, that is what I love doing. I just like making music.
Right.
Yeah.
Ahmed, we've also had a very interesting year as a country. Many things have happened. As a Pakistani, how are you feeling?
Okay, so when it needs the question needs to be a little more structured, I believe. In which specific sense?
Just as a national of this country, on a day-to-day, how do you feel? I mean, do you feel optimistic? Do you feel like things are working out? Do you feel like we're heading in a good direction?
Are we heading in a good direction?
I'm not the best here.
I mean, it's really interesting to see. I'm not really too much interested in knowing what's happening in the political sphere, because I'm more interested in what's happening generally around us as a society, and I'm not very convinced that we are headed in the right direction. If we were, we wouldn't have the problems that we see, that we face on a daily basis. If as a society, I believe we were progressing in the right direction, I believe that, and again, this is just my own personal opinion, and I'm no expert. I haven't studied all these subjects, but as just a concerned citizen, I believe that there's a lot more to be done within, like improving our society and within our own self. So introspection ki kafi zarurat hai, I feel. So generally, there is a lot of hope that I see. I do see that, as a country, even though we are struggling, but still I see a ray of hope that, if we get our house in order, and by getting our house in order, I mean that, each and every individual steps up their own personal game. And they say like, okay, no, I want to be a good person, and I want to, contribute positively towards my society. I feel like that is where the real change will start to happen, and generally we'll gravitate towards a positive direction, I believe. And at the same time, I feel like that's really not happening, because it pains me to say, as much as, I love my country, and because I've been on different ends of the country, I've lived in different places, and I believe that, our people are so great. We have such a rich history. We have such, we have a very dense and deep culture, but somehow it's not translating in the progress, in the economic progress as we see. So that just saddens me a little bit. But then again, I'm optimistic, and I do see that we do, considering the fact that we have a lot of potential, we can go to the stars.
Right. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about your journey as well, but we're headed in a good direction, so I want to pick this up now. The film industry, the drama industry, the Pakistani entertainment industry, ये जो अभी आपने सारी बातें की हैं, is it also reflected in that industry as well?
Of course. How is it isolated? How is our industry, like isolated from our society? It's it's an integral part of our society.
What are some of the bigger problems you face or feel on a day-to-day basis over
again,
there?
Structural issues. I don't see ourselves as a collective industry as of yet. We see that, we are independent. There are some independent players who are doing their own independent works, and nobody's like progressing towards it as a whole. That's my problem everywhere. Like, even though we are progressing individually, we might be progressing individually, like production houses are doing such amazing works. Our dramas are all over the world. It's not just in Pakistan. They're so big, but at the same time, our film industry struggles. Our music industry is struggling. So I feel like, hey, what are we doing as a collective whole to make sure that all of these integral parts of the same industry are going in the right direction? So again, there are structural issues. And then there's an issue of intent. Do we intend on, moving as a collective whole? I don't really see that. I don't see that unity. Because,
I mean, how come the dramas tend to do so well, and, unki following dunya bhar mein hai, itni zyada hai. And the films, they don't. I mean, we were all so excited about a certain film that just released, and I mean, for the lack of a better word, it was a disappointment for everyone. So, what's going wrong with the films? Because you also told me off camera that you are working on a bunch of films. So, क्या है?
अच्छा, principal differences हैं मेरे mediums के साथ. हमारी we need to understand that the film is a different medium altogether. Television is a different medium altogether. We can't see them, interchangeably. Number one. Number two, the reason why we are doing so well in the drama industry is because we are doing it a lot. So it's just practicing. For example, it's like with any other state functionary. For example, within our state, there are certain organizations which are doing phenomenally well, and there are other organizations, even being a part of the same structure, they're not performing well. It's because they're not being looked after, or because there's a lack of intent, or because, there's a structural issue. So I personally feel the reason why as films we are not progressing is because we aren't doing as much of them, and we don't have a proper structure for them. And everything boils down to simple economics and finances, because it's much more lucrative, and for people to make dramas, and they may make their money quicker out, and they reinvest. So that's the reason why the circle continues to grow. But at the same time, when it comes to films, because there isn't a proper infrastructure to release them, it's not very lucrative for the producers. I myself am one of the producers of the films, and I see that there is a fundamental lapse in the way that the industry progressed as a whole. Even though पहले अगर आप देखें तो हमारी फिल्म्स बहुत अच्छी होती थी, और हमारी फिल्म्स मतलब इंडिया से डायरेक्टर्स आते थे, I'm talking about the late 1950s and 60s, right. वहाँ पे वहाँ से क्या प्रॉब्लम शुरू हुई कि हमारी इंडस्ट्री को बिल्कुल ख़त्म कर दिया गया, फिर वो दोबारा से उठ ही नहीं पाई. सो वहाँ आप ये देखें ना कि वहाँ से हमें वो किक स्टार्ट या पुश स्टार्ट वो मिला नहीं एक तो फिल्म्स को. फिर आते हैं दूसरी तरह से कि अब इनमें मीडियम डिफरेंस क्या है, एंड वाई आर फिल्म्स टेंड टू डिसअपॉइंट अस, बिकॉज दे लैक बजट. देखें, इफ़ यू वांट टू हैव अ decent ride, for example, if you want to say कि यार I wanna drive a nice car, I wanna drive a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Pagani, and then you have money for a Corolla and you expect it to feel like a Pagani, it's not gonna happen. The similar reason why our next door neighbors do so phenomenally well when it comes to their films, it is because they have the financial muscle to support it. And similarly, you see that there is an incremental betterment in the drama industry. It's because they are realizing, and because of YouTube, now they have an entirely different income stream coming in. They're investing more and dramas are getting better. So I feel like, again, it's a systematic issue.
Right.
And if the infrastructure is proper and if there is proper financial backing, our films can also do phenomenally well.
Ahmed, so you've told me कि मसले क्या हैं, मसाइल क्या हैं with the dramas, with the films, but you've also told me that you are working on films.
Yeah.
And we've also discussed the economics of it, so not very lucrative, पैसे नहीं बनाए जाते, and most films go on a loss.
Yeah.
Why are you working on a film?
Because I just believe in the medium. I love it. And I do see the potential in it. Like, see, we have a prime example of Maula Jat. How well was that film made? See, that's what I'm talking about, the proper intent here. What's the proper intent? With Maula Jat is the only film, I believe, Maula Jat, Tifa in Trouble. I feel like these two films were actually, I think, not so much as Tifa as Maula Jat. I take Maula Jat as the primest example of them all.
It is, yeah.
Because it screams Pakistani signature cinema. It is the only film that is independent of all the other external, inspirations, we can say. It doesn't have any formal dance sequence. It does not have any, like excessively exorbitant fighting sequences. It has all of it, but it has our own signature, the way that you're supposed to make films. So I genuinely believe that as filmmakers, we have such such dense culture, and we have such dense potential to actually show the world what we're capable of. Because when we get done with the podcast, I'd love to give you an insight of how the film looks, and you'd be, this is not my words, you'll be sharing the same experience as I do. The film is shot very nice. It's because we've treated it as a film. Problem ये होती है कि because of lack of proper finances, हम लोग फ्रेम को बड़ा कर ही नहीं सकते. Because जितना फ्रेम बड़ा होता जाता है, जैसे film is a medium and a long frame. Drama is a closed medium. Drama is just like the way that we're doing this podcast right now, right? That's the medium of a drama. So अब मैंने अगर जितना मेरा फ्रेम बड़ा होता जाएगा, उतना मैंने उसके पीछे इन्वेस्ट करना है, उसको उतना ग्लैमरस या उसको उसी तरह जिस तरह स्टोरी हो रही है, चल रही है. और फॉर एग्जांपल ड्रामा में सबसे बड़ा डिफरेंस मीडियम का क्या है कि कैरेक्टर स्टोरी बता रहे होते हैं डायलॉग्स के थ्रू. फिल्म में आपको वो सारा सीक्वेंस दिखाना है. तो दैट इज़ वेयर एक्चुअली वी लूज आवर टच, बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव दैट, एंड पीपल आर ट्राइंग टू like save cost and maximize profits because they're not too sure when the film hits the market they're going to make their money back. So that's where the fundamental issue is. So we see how can, as a society, we can fix this. There is not a societal fixed issue. This is a pure finance problem. So I think we need proper finance people. I'm a finance guy myself, so my education is in finance. So that's why I know, if you want to fix this industry, you have to fix the finance of this industry. And that is where you will see the film industry actually rising again, is when we are able to address the financial issues. Because if I'm a businessman and I want to invest my money and make money out of it, you will only convince me to do so, and continue with it if I'm making money. If I'm not, then I'll do a one-off thing, and if I'm passionate, and then I won't do it again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you said that you are making a film, or you're working on a film because you're passionate, you believe in the medium.
Yeah.
Is that also the reason that you are an actor?
Fundamentally, I feel like there was an entire. I think this goes with not just me. This is something that is unique for everyone. We know our calling. We know that if we really ask.
आपको भी बचपन से पता था?
Yeah. I was sure about two things. Either I am going to be a soldier.
Okay.
Yeah. If not, then I'm going to be an actor. These were two things that I knew. I didn't obviously become a soldier, so I'm an actor now.
You're an actor.
But as far as I can remember, and that's actually sometimes very strange to me as well, that how could a 6-year-old or 7-year-old, when you have just a brink of consciousness coming in, just like a little light that when you look at the television and you look at films, that okay, this is something that I want to do. It's just a very inherent calling. I feel like that's just the case with me. I knew that this is something that I really want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there a family
not at all
legacy or anything?
Not at all. I am the first one out of my family who is in this business.
So when you told the family that आप ये करना चाहते हैं, what was the reaction there?
They were very forthcoming. You'd be surprised.
Really?
I mean, I wouldn't be doing what I do without my family's support. Goes without saying that they're my pillar. They're actually the wall on which I fight my wars on. Without them, I'm nobody and I'm nowhere. That's why I feel like when people say, and I'm very infamous in my social circle as well, that I'm a mama's boy, and I'm damn proud of it. I want to be a mama's boy. I want to do what my mother tells me to do without feeling ashamed of that fact that I'm a grown man and I want to make my own decisions. No. If my mother tells me sit, I will sit. If my mother tells me stand, I will stand. And I'll happily do it. Listen, we do so much to please other people.
Yeah.
Why can't we do a little to please our parents? And if I can be a puppet, and my parents give me all the liberty of action, and they've given me all the freedom in the world that, normal people cannot even imagine. But despite all of that, I still, as a grown man, I preferred living with my parents. I wouldn't trade it and I still get calls if I'm late at night. I still get a frantic call from my mom, where are you?
Yeah.
Or like a angry call, where are you? When are you coming back? And I'll be back in an hour and so. And I do get scolded, when I'm so happy that I do that, and alhamdulillah, I'm so blessed that I have, parental figures in my life who get to, scold me.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to pin it down to the industry, because I think the larger society that we live in is also interesting these days. And so it becomes very difficult to maintain your moral compass and, to hold on to the morality. How do you do that? What is your way to be the person that you are, be the person that your family wants you to be?
Right. So, it's actually very interesting where, as I told you before, I only live to please my Lord and then my family. So I can do whatever I want as long as these two things are being looked after. Like if I'm, in the eyes of my Lord, I'm doing okay. And in the eyes of my family, I'm doing okay. I don't care about anything else. I really don't. I don't give 2 cents to other people's opinion of whether whatever I'm doing is right or wrong. I don't really care if they think that I'm a good guy or a bad guy. No, I won't cause them any harm. That's because in the light of my Lord, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
I'm supposed to help and enlighten every single room that I enter. And that's what you saw when I came here. And that's my intent of being, like a clown or acting out. It's not because that I am that way, certainly. No, it's because it matters to me when I come in the room that you smile looking at me.
Yeah.
And that you're having a good time, that you're not threatened by my presence. You're at ease by it. So I feel like, when you come in a room and you try to control it through your actions or by making a statement that I'm a stronger man, you're actually the weaker person. You will be only as strong as with the amount of comfort and peace that you're providing. That because that is the basics of our religion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And amidst all of that, I mean, how are you dealing with any of the criticism that you get on your acting or your professional career, singing, acting, or just generally as well?
So when it comes to criticism or when it comes to positive or negative comments, it's very professional for me.
Okay.
So like I said, normally most of the times when I give my takes, I don't even go to the monitor and see what I did. As long as, because the kind of actor I am, I strive for only one thing while I'm on the set, and that is whether my director is happy with me or not, whether he's happy with my performance or not, whether am I in the same character as my director wants me to be. Because sometimes you portray yourself as a different person, but the director knows what he wants out of you.
Yeah.
And he wants a different person. He doesn't want what you want. He wants something that what he wants, because that is what, as an actor, you're supposed to do. Right? So I think that is what I do when I'm on set. And when it comes to criticism, as long as my director is not criticizing, as long as my co-stars are not criticizing, people have their own opinion. There's going to be 100 people who are going to have different 100 opinions. I'm not going to care for all of them.
Right.
Yes. But if a co-actor is telling me something, I would care about their comment. Other than that, it's just you do your best and then you leave the rest.
It's a good approach to have.
Yeah.
Ahmed, has the approach always been the same? So I want to understand when you were just stepping into the industry.
Yeah. No, it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. It was just like everybody else.
Yeah.
I have to, have proper hair.
Yeah.
It took a little while for me to get out of it. And I actually started asking myself this question: what do you want to be? So I'm rare, like you can ask and you can, there will be a, so many people testifying to this fact that I'm the least person who's calling the makeup artist towards themselves to fix their hair or to fix their face. I just want okay, face ke upar shine now because mostly we are shooting in the summer times and your face gets sweaty and oily and you have shine on your face. I believe I need to be more concerned about my characters and my lines and what I'm going to be delivering. If I'm too conscious about the way that I look, that I'm not an actor, that I'm just another person who's trying to be, appearing to be a different way, and he's not doing his job. If I want to do that, I'd become a model, where I want to be particularly judged for my looks.
Right.
When it comes to acting, I want to be judged by the way of how I played my character and how amount of justice that I did to the character.
Right.
So that's where I think my approach changed.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you get a good welcome to the industry when you joined? Yeah. Like what are some of the problems if you were to talk about those?
There weren't any problems. I think everyone is very welcoming in the industry. It's in my personal experience. I do not know what other people might have faced.
Yeah.
It's because I don't let anybody step on me. No matter who you are, you can't do that. I will show you the utmost respect, and that's what I do. But I won't take any disrespect, not even for a second, not from anyone. I will correct you if you're wrong. I will put you in your place in an instant. But alhamdulillah, nothing like that has ever happened.
Okay.
I've been, I've worked with very senior people on my very first films, and they've been very loving and very kind. They've been very supportive. They've taught me, because I actually go up to them and I say, I want to learn. And this is my approach to acting still. What I do with every single day, with each passing day on my set, is I treat it as my first day. So I feel like as if this is my first day of getting this opportunity. So I'm happy. Okay, I've learned this far. So what can I learn more to make my skill a little better? Because at the end of the day, that's what we have, apart from the fame and the money. And what do you do on a daily basis that matters the most? Yeah.
Right. Speaking of money, I mean, you didn't really have to jump into the industry for the money.
Alhamdulillah.
But is it an industry where you can jump in hoping to make a good living out of it? Just for someone that's thinking of it.
I'll be very honest, no.
No.
It's yes, at a certain point, after a certain while, it becomes lucrative.
Yeah.
If you start doing well for yourself. But if you're just looking out that, in the beginning, 4 or 5 years into it, you're going to be making a lot of money, unless and until, you have that instant fame or instant stardom, then it's a different story. But for most people, it doesn't happen that way.
No.
So you have to be, and then again, our industry is very infamously known for delaying payments. They're not very good paymasters. They don't pay that well. So yeah, you have to be very, very honest to yourself whether you want to do this for the money or not. And if you're coming in this industry for money, you're going to be very saddened because there's no money in it. Specifically for actors, there is no money in it.
And speaking of quick fame, your words, not mine. I want to know what you feel about TikTok and Instagram and all the influencers, as they're called, coming out of that medium.
Okay, so I don't have anything against the medium. I feel like it's another medium. If it's entertaining people, who am I to say it's not good or bad? I'm not the judge of whether something is good or bad or not. As a society as a whole, we decide that. I feel like TikTok has a negative influence on the society. If we put up, and then at the same time, we have some very good, content creators who are doing such amazing content. So it depends upon, it's simply for the fact that if you pick up a gun, is it either for protection or for shooting someone else, or for it's not generally about the tool. It's about how you use the tool where the problem lies.
Right.
So where I feel that, yes, do you know the amount of effort it takes for some content creators to create that content? So I can't judge on that fact whether that content is good or bad. I want to see what is the amount of effort that someone's put behind creating that content. So that is where I feel like, we need to see these content creators. They spend their 9 to 5s like us normal people, we do something else. Like I spend 10 hours creating a drama or every day, for example, for 6 months or 7 months. These content creators give their lives.
Right.
So it's not an easy job. Right. In most cases, it's a thankless job as well. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like there needs to be proper, community guidelines of how the content should behave. And then if people are liking it, let people be the judge. Yeah, you and I can't sitting alone and, in the studio passing that judgment. I think that's not our place to be.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to what you said, because I think it's interesting and I want to know more about it. You said that the industry is not a very good paymaster and, generally payments are delayed. Payments are also sometimes, we've heard, not made at all. Is there anything collective that brings you guys together to demand those payments, to demand your dutiful rights and payments?
So there is if I'm not wrong, there is a union of sorts. I think there is I'm forgetting its name. There's a proper initiative where a collective actors come together and they fight for rights and stuff. I do not know what the exact name of the department, but there is something like a body like that. I do not know how active it is, because
the fact that you don't even know about it. So,
I know that I'm forgetting the name. There's an union of sorts. I know it behaves as a union, but I still see a lot of senior people. There was a lot of hue and cry on the social media related to this topic. So I don't really think that me dwelling too much into it will help anyone. Everyone knows that it's a prevalent problem. And I feel like, yes, people who are making content need to make sure that they're paying their actors on time.
Right.
And ये तो खाली actors की बात हो रही है ना. मैं तो आपसे बात करना चाहूँगा कि what about the other staff members who are there on set? Are they being paid? There are so many stories that I can say and I can tell about, how the crew and staff are being mismanaged and handled, and you'd be brought to your knees, or you'd have tears in your eyes hearing their stories and how poorly production houses tend to treat them. So I'm more concerned about them. Okay, everybody's talking about actors. Is anybody concerned about all of those other people?
The crew. Yeah.
I'm more concerned about them. Because, actors' jobs are done as soon as the camera closes. These guys come way before and they leave way after. And then it's day in and day out for them. Is anybody taking care of how well they're being fed? Because that's a very prevalent problem. Production houses do not tend to, feed their employees very well. That's a prevalent problem. They don't tend to take care of the fact that yes, some actors have to be treated in a certain way because they have to appear in a certain way. They don't take care of their diets and stuff. I'm not saying not all production houses do that, but the majority of them, they do. So there's a problem.
Right.
Again, is everything, Abdullah, lies with the intent.
Right.
What's the intent with which?
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is quite plain and simple. मेरी नीयत अच्छी होगी, तो अल्लाह ताला मेरे लिए ऐसे असबाब बनाएगा जिससे मैं ये कर पाऊंगा. अगर मेरी नीयत साफ नहीं है, तो because my Lord is merciful, He will as a mercy not make these things happen because, you know, He's saying कि यार ये ज़्यादा और ख़राब ना हो जाए. So that's what I believe.
Amit, throughout your journey, आपने बहुत highs भी देखे होंगे, lows भी देखे होंगे, and as you're also telling कि काफ़ी disappointments भी होती हैं, and you know there's some things you get happy about, but then a lot of disappointments are also part of the experience. Was there a point जहाँ पे you were like, this is it, I can't do it anymore?
I feel like it's quite natural for everyone to once in a while second guess their choices. It's very human. I know कि okay यार, with the amount of effort that I'm putting in my career, is it paying off? Financially speaking, no, it's not. I'll be very honest, I'll be very blunt, it's not, because I know if I apply myself with the same zeal in any other business like I am with my other businesses, I reap way better results. That's why I'm not concerned whether I'll get more work or not. That's why I get to be a little more vocal. That, you know, okay, I don't care whether I get cancelled or, you know, for the rest of my life and I don't get work. It's okay. I don't care if Allah Ta'ala wants me to be, wants me to be in this same field, if it's for my own benefit. Yes, I will continue, despite all efforts, despite every obstruction. But if it's not meant for me. So this is where the concept of risk, I believe, comes in. So we think risk is specifically to what we eat. No, it's not. It's to what we wear. It's, you know, the kind of health we have, the kind of wealth we have. Everything is a integral part of it. So मेरे हाथ में तो है ही नहीं है, तो मैं तो ये जज ही नहीं कर सकता ना कि मैं क्या ठीक कर रहा हूँ, क्या गलत कर रहा हूँ. ये आपका इंटरनल मॉरल कंपस होता है जो आपको येस एंड नो का आंसर दे रहा होता है. बट अबाउट बिगर क्वेश्चंस इन लाइफ यू हैव टू figure that out yourself. So I don't really believe as an actor my journey has even started yet, because I believe that there is so much that I can offer as an actor and that hasn't been utilized because of lack of proper opportunities. The things that I get offered, I don't want to do them, or they don't resonate with me, or maybe I'm waiting for the right thing at the right time. So again, second guessing is human nature. It's part of it, and it's fine.
Yeah.
What do you do with the decision that you make matters the most. It's like going to the gym and you don't feel well, but you do it anyway because you know you at a later stage you're going to reap the benefit out of it. So the important part is not about how you feel about a certain thing. It's about showing up, and it's about doing the work. So as long as I'm able, and as long as my Lord wants it, number one, as long as my Lord wants me to be, you know, like, because I ask for His guidance, right? I ask for it every night and day when I offer my prayers, that if this is right for me, you are the best planner of planners. You decide. I'm going to enjoy the ride. If it happens, it happens. Doesn't it? Doesn't.
Wonderful.
I'm not too fixated about results. No, I'm not. I'm more concerned about the process. I want to enjoy the process.
Right.
I don't want to know the result. I don't want, you know, what the world has to offer. No, I want to know what Abdullah has to offer on the table right now in this conversation. Because as human beings, when we reach our end and when we look back at our life, we don't live through hours. We live in moments. Right? So I want to look and I want to create better moments, that, you know, lifelong lasting moments that remain for a longer time, even for myself.
Absolutely.
And then that's it.
Absolutely. No, that's beautifully said. And I think that's very well said.
that's just generally how I see life.
Yeah.
Because life isn't very complicated.
Yeah.
Like we tend to see, oh, I'm in control. I want to take care of this. I want to do that. I want to do this. And let me ask you, you end up doing what you wanted to do in the first place. Like, I'll ask you, like straight up, Abdullah, look back at your life and look, hasn't God delivered every single thing that you ever wanted? Every single thing. And I can tell you, if something that you wanted and you didn't get, it's solely for your benefit. But Alhamdulillah, when I look back and I see life, I've gotten everything that I wanted. It is not because I was great. No. It is because my Lord is great, because He's merciful and He's bountiful, and He provides for everyone. And I'm no one special. Everyone is the same way. So I feel like whatever you want in life, if you genuinely want it, and if you're grateful for it when you have it, you'll continue to get more of it. If you see, because it's very interesting, it's something that my father told me, that when you achieve a goal in life and you're standing at the goal post, you're like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
So that's how the human psyche is, trained. We want more. We want more out. See, the concept of afterlife, that is the reason why it excites me a lot, because it's the promise of what's to come. So I'm not too much excited about this life anymore and what it has to offer, because Alhamdulillah, Allah has been so kind. He has been so kind. And if I spend my rest of my days in procrastination, it won't be enough, because He's given me so much. Alhamdulillah. तो मैं कहता हूँ कि यार अब क्या है इसमें? So I want to know more. I want to know more about my Lord. I want to, so is what I feel where my life is headed now.
I think, as they say, the beauty is in the chase and not the destination.
The destination as well.
Yes. But Ahmed, speaking of looking back, when you look back at your journey, what's something that you're really proud of, that you're like, acha Ahmed ne kar liya?
I feel like I'm very, very proud of the fact that every set that I've been on, I've created friends, and I've created lifelong or life-lasting friendships with even if we don't talk on a daily basis. But I have created bonds with each and every one of them on the set. That's like unbreakable. And that's just pure entertainment. Well, I'm pulling their leg and I'm making sure that they're happy, and I'm just having a good time with them and having a laugh. I feel like that's the only thing that I've earned so far. And yes, now sometimes when I go and I'm sitting and a little boy comes up to me or a little girl comes up to me and says that we want to take a picture, I feel like I'm the king of the world. Nothing brings me so much happiness when little children, they come up to me and they say they want to take a picture. And I'm saying, okay, I might have done something right in my life to deserve that I'm able to provide little children 5 minutes of happiness. And I might not see them in their lives again. But they might remember me and they say, okay, we met this guy. He came in this drama, we saw him, we met him, and it becomes a part of the story that they tell their friends for a little while.
Right.
So I feel that is my true earning.
And again, when you look back, are there any regrets that you have?
I wish that, systematically speaking, I wish that while I was in an industry that promoted not actors who just had following, but actors who had genuine acting talent. I just feel that, how it's not only here, it's everywhere else in the world as well. How that, sometimes some amazing talent goes a waste, gets unrecognized. That just breaks my heart. That, you might find yourself in an odd evening in Androon Lahore somewhere, and you see a vocalist singing his lungs out, and he's so soulful and he's amazing, but nobody knows who he is. So that's just something that gets me. That I think talent should not go to a waste. So I feel like maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, where our industry becomes, so good that it actually promotes talent on talent basis, not just on the fact that, you have influence or you have following. Because stories are not built on influencers. Stories are built on characters.
Right.
So I feel like that is where we are lacking, where, we see people stardom and we I see the appeal, I see the commercial appeal of it, that, people want to make money, so they want known faces and they want people who are well known to be. But I feel like at the same time it's a disservice because हो सकता है वो character उनके लिए बनाना हो. So that is the only regret I have.
That's the only. Ahmed, speaking of more established industries, I don't want to call it a good industry, but more established industries. We have Bollywood across the border. Is that something given the opportunity you would consider?
I would love to, but I think that I will not be able to. I feel like देखें हमें ये जो boundaries है ना, even though I come from a military background, I've seen firsthand, I know what the animosity between the two countries are. But at the same time, I want to be honest about it. I want to see that, because when I was living in Australia, I had friends who were from India, and they were some of the most amazing people I know. I still am in contact with them. They're amazing people. So I just feel like हमारी लड़ाई है क्यों? हमारी क्या लड़ाई एक दूसरे से किस बेसिस के ऊपर है ये लड़ाई? और क्यों हम उस लड़ाई को ख़त्म नहीं कर पा रहे? तो जब आप इस चीज़ की तरफ अच्छे से गौर करते हैं और तवज्जो देते हैं तो आपको पता चलता है कि ये लड़ाई मेरी और आपकी नहीं है. ये लड़ाई किसी और की है जो हमारे थ्रू की जा रही है. तो जब उसके अंदर आप आर्ट को लेकर आते हैं और आप देखते हैं कि यार आप इमेजिन करें ना कि अगर हम लोग इकट्ठे होकर काम करना शुरू कर दें तो हम कौन सी ऐसी, हम हॉलीवुड क्या, हम चांद के ऊपर भी कोई नया स्टूडियो खुलेगा जिसकी देखी है हमने. तो मैं ये देखता हूँ कि मेरा दिल दुखता है आर्ट के लिए. मेरा ये दिल दुखता है कि व्हाट कुड हैव बीन उस चीज़ के लिए, कि हैव वी फॉरगॉटन आवर डिफरेंसेस. और ये तो चले एक्टिंग और या आर्ट की बात हो रही है ना, आप शेयर लॉस ऑफ ह्यूमन लाइफ के बारे में बात करें. जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ पोलिटिकल नैरेटिव्स यू आर डिस्ट्रॉइंग पीपल्स जनरेशंस. दैट इज़ व्हाट सैडन्स मी. सो इसीलिए अगर मुझसे कोई ये पूछता है और मैं ये कहता हूँ वो इंडस्ट्री अच्छी है, मैं कहता हूँ इंडस्ट्री बहुत अच्छी है. अगर वो अच्छी ना होती तो दुनिया उनको वो प्रेज ना देती. देखें, व्हेन इट कम्स टू आर्ट, आइदर द आर्ट इज गुड or it isn't. There is no two ways. It's semi-okay. It doesn't happen.
I mean, art is subjective. So,
well, I'm talking about pure commercial art.
Commercial.
Yeah. Either it's good, either an action film is good or it's bad.
Yeah.
Either it is a romantic film is good or it's bad. It can't be, some are okay. See, so मैं ये कहता हूँ कि it's similarly when somebody asks me as a musician, and this question was not relevant right now. This question was relevant way back when Justin Bieber was just becoming Justin Bieber, and they asked me, "Yaar, what are your thoughts about him?" Okay, he's amazing. He's like, "What? You like actually Justin Bieber?" Like, of course. मैं कहा यार वो जो दुनिया उसको फॉलो कर रही है वो बेवकूफ़ तो नहीं है. वो फॉलो कर रही है, वो उसके अगर मिलियंस एंड मिलियंस ऑफ फॉलोअर्स हैं तो वो सारे पागल हैं. ऐसे तो नहीं. Why do you think that what you believe is right or wrong? Or if you like something and you believe it's good and the other person doesn't believe so, then that doesn't mean that thing is good. Right? So if a collective consciousness, like collective people are coming together and saying that something is good, then it is good. Because that is where democracy comes in, which we are struggling with a little bit, I believe. But this is, I feel like जब आप collective will को नहीं देखते हो लोगों की और उसके against जाते हो तो आपको कभी कुछ नहीं मिलता. Collective will लोगों की बड़ी strong होती है.
Absolutely. Ahmed, tell me a little bit about your inspirations. So, Pakistan specific, when you were growing up, yeah, currently as well, were there any actors that you would look up to and you'd want to be like them?
Moin Akhtar Saab was one of my favorite actors to watch. Like, sometimes you'll see me watching Loose Talk and just like seeing him dabble to different characters and doing it so effortlessly. It's just something that inspires me so much to be an actor. And that's where the fun lies, where you get to be, be different people. So I feel like, yes, then, current actors mein Shan Shahid, I had the privilege of doing my first ever project with him. He was amazing. Shan bhai is an amazing actor. Humayun Saeed bhai is an amazing actor. Adnan Siddiqui bhai is an amazing actor. And amazing human beings, all of them. Because I was just starting out and I went up to them and I said, you know, like, teach me, and they were very welcoming, and they you know, they had that elderly brother vibe. And so I feel like जहाँ भी आप देखना चाहें, अगर आपकी पॉजिटिव नज़र है तो आपको पॉजिटिव चीज़ें नज़र आती रहती हैं. So I think inspiration can come from your sleep.
Anyway, yeah.
You wake up, suddenly you feel inspired to do something. So I feel like you need to approach the source of all inspiration.
What about the female actors? I mean, anyone that really you think is good and you...
I feel like all of them are good. If they weren't good, they wouldn't be doing what they do, right?
Diplomatic answer.
No, I'm actually I'm not very diplomatic. I'm very straight up. That's one of my problems. If I like somebody, generally that's the case. I like everyone.
Yeah.
If I don't like somebody, I'll, you know, make it known. Okay, you know, I'll keep a distance, or I will make it known through my actions that I am not, you know, generally fond of someone.
Not a fan of you.
But as far as all of our female actors are you know, concerned, all of them have great potential. They're very good people to work with, very professional. So मैं अगर किसी का नाम सिंगल आउट करके कहूँगा नहीं ये बहुत अच्छी हैं, तो ये बाकियों के साथ डिसर्विस होगी कि बाकी उतनी अच्छी नहीं. I feel like everyone has
मेल एक्टर्स के साथ आपने ये डिसर्विस कर दी है, बट
नहीं, मेल एक्टर्स भी बहुत अच्छे हैं यार. I feel
anyway.
like I don't know, Abdullah, this is something about me that, you know, I try to, and that's something that my friends say as well, कि यार, you know, you're too optimistic about people, and, you know, not everyone is the same way. I feel like no, that's not the case. If my optimism decides who that person is going to be in my life, that is going to be that person. If I decide, for example, that if Abdullah is a nice person in my affair, because it is my life and I'm the center of my universe and I decide what happens, so I'm single-handedly deciding how Abdullah is going to behave in my life. And that is where the concept of vibes and, you know, like aura comes into play. When you meet someone, you know, instantaneously you have that connection with them. It is because, you know, there's science behind it. Your minds are all vibrating on the similar frequency, and that's why you vibe well and you gel well with somebody. So in my belief, if I feel like, okay, if somebody is even bad with somebody else, if they're good with me, they're good people. Right. So that's how I operate. As long as you're not doing disservice to me and you're generally nice to me, I'll be nice to you, and you're a nice person. Yeah.
Ahmed, are you a feminist?
I am not. I do not believe in it.
Interesting.
Because देखें, जो चीज़ आप नेचर के अगेंस्ट जाके करेंगे, I believe in, you know, I believe in the fact that there needs to be parity. There needs to be equality in certain things. But role interchangeable नहीं है. For example, the reason why I don't believe in feminism is because I believe female are way superior than men in every way. So feminism कहाँ से आया कि you're fighting for equal rights when I believe that you're better than me. As a species, I believe females are better than males. It is not because of the fact that I'm a male and I'm better than females. No. You're highly mistaken, sir. You're not. We were made as females guardians. We were made, देखें, हम चौकीदार हैं ना बेसिकली. हमने हिफाजत करनी है, अगर तो वो हिफाजत किसकी करनी है? जो हमसे चीज़ बेहतर है, हमने उसकी तो हिफाजत, हमने एक दूसरे की हिफाजत तो नहीं करनी ना. वी आर सपोज टू बी गार्डियंस ऑफ विमेन एंड फीमेल बिकॉज दे आर बेटर. If they weren't better than us, let me finish my argument. If they weren't better than us, then Abdullah, I would have the ability to reproduce and give birth. The actual genuine miracle of God. So मैं फेमिनिज्म में इसलिए बिलीव नहीं करता बिकॉज स्ट्रक्चरली ये आर्ग्यूमेंट ठीक नहीं है. आपका एक असाइंड फंक्शन है, मेरा एक असाइंड फंक्शन है. अगर मैं आपको असिस्ट कर रहा हूँ उस फंक्शन को अच्छे परफॉर्म करने में, देन आई एम डूइंग माई जॉब राइट. सो फेमिनिज्म हमारे रिलीजन में भी नहीं है. सो मैं तो अपने रिलीजन से हट के कोई चीज़ करूँगा नहीं, तो मैं मानता भी नहीं उसमें.
आई थिंक फेमिनिज्म हमारे रिलीजन में बहुत बढ़ चढ़ के है, बट आई थिंक
देखिए नहीं आपको मैं बताऊं, फेमिनिज्म नहीं है, उसका कॉन्सेप्ट डिफरेंट है. द वेस्टर्न फेमिनिज्म इज समथिंग एल्स.
No, but that's what I'm about to say. Yeah. Feminism is a very misunderstood and almost villainized idea. So, what my personal understanding would be that there's no one saying that there's no difference between you and a woman. वो कोई भी नहीं कह रहा. There are physiological, biological differences.
देखिए मैं तो आर्गुमेंट के दूसरे स्पेक्ट्रम पे हूँ.
लेकिन देखिए
मैं तो ये कहता हूँ कि फीमेल्स हर तरीके से बेहतर हैं मेल से.
चले वो आप कहते हैं. But the basic argument would be that there should be equality of opportunities.
Yes,
so if you get to sit on this podcast seat just because you're a man, there should be a woman sitting here.
बिल्कुल.
A very lame example, but you get the gist of it.
I agree with you 110%.
So I think because over time there's so much that's happened, it's become a villainized thing to say.
Yeah.
I am a feminist, but fundamentally what you believe in is कि औरतों और मर्दों का जो opportunity उनको मिलनी चाहिए, that shouldn't be determined based on their gender.
देखिए मैं आपको ये कहता हूँ ना कि हम लोगों ने, बिकॉज मैं स्पेक्ट्रम के दूसरे साइड पे इसलिए हूँ बिकॉज इनइक्वालिटी का स्पेक्ट्रम बहुत बड़ा है ना. इफ अ पर्सन लाइक मी डज नॉट गेट अप एंड डिसाइड एंड से कि नो फीमेल्स आर बेटर देन मैन इन व्हेन इट कम्स टू लुक एट द वे दैट आवर एंटायर इस्लामिक हिस्ट्री वाज स्ट्रक्चर्ड. Hadn't it been for Hazrat Khatija, peace be upon her, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not have been a prophet, because when he came down the first time with the first revelation, it was because of Hazrat Khadija who...
That is feminism for you.
Right. So देखिए feminism मेरे ख्याल में से उसका जो word है ना वो हम लोगों ने बड़े गलत तरीके से
उसको villainize कर लिया primarily.
तो मैं ये कहता हूँ कि देखें आप इस कॉन्सेप्ट को सोचें कि जो अब ये देखें कि जोन सी कंट्रीज़ की प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स फीमेल्स थी, इकोनॉमिकली दे डिड वेल, सोशली दे डिड वेल. लीडरशिप में मुझे लगता है कि ख़वातीन का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होना चाहिए. देर जेन्युइन बॉर्न लीडर्स. अच्छा, मेल साइकोलॉजी और फीमेल साइकोलॉजी में भी क्या है कि फीमेल्स आर ऑलवेज मोर लॉयल टूवर्ड्स देयर हाउस होल्ड एज मैन आर, बिकॉज वी आर बायोलॉजिकली ट्रेन टू गो आउटसाइड ऑफ आवर स्फीयर. ठीक है, हम हंटर गैदरर्स की भी अगर आप साइंस ले लें या कोई भी आप बात कर लें तो आदमी को यही कहा गया है कि उसने बाहर जाके ब्रेड विन करके आनी है. तो अंदर डोमेस्टिक जो सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल है ख़वातीन का वो अगली जनरेशन की तरबियत है. दे हैव द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल टू प्ले. तो अगर वही वेल इक्विप्ड नहीं है, वही वेल एजुकेटेड नहीं है, तो आपकी अगली जनरेशन कैसे अच्छी हो सकती है? राइट. सो आई फील लाइक कि अगर मेरे जैसा बंदा दूसरे स्पेक्ट्रम पे खड़े होकर ये नहीं कह रहा कि यार आपको ख़वातीन पे ज़्यादा तवज्जो देनी चाहिए, आपको उनको ज़्यादा एम्पावर करना चाहिए, बिकॉज आपकी अगली जनरेशन का सर्वाइवल नहीं, उनका आगे उनकी एस्केलेशन, एलिवेशन सारा कुछ डिपेंडेंट इस फैक्ट के ऊपर है. तो ये जब तक मेरे जैसा बंदा वोकल होकर नहीं बोलेगा ना, तो फिर वो अपॉर्चुनिटी भी ख़वातीन को नहीं दी जाएगी.
आपने अपने कंक्लूजन में जो बात की है वो is the principle of being a feminist. Of course, the word has been villainized, and I understand and that's also partly the reason that we have this conversation to change that villainization of the word. But you again you picked up on female leaders. We have a very active female leader in the face of Maryam Nawaz. Thoughts?
She's doing phenomenally well. Despite, again, I'm a very apolitical person. I wouldn't care less if there was anybody else. मेरी तरफ से अगर उस्मान बज़दार साहब भी अच्छा परफॉर्म करते तो वो बहुत अच्छे थे. उन्होंने अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं किया. Look at the way that how Maryam Nawaz Saiba is performing. I want to be a judge on that. Whether she is doing well as her role as a chief minister, which I personally believe. It might be wrong for another political believer, but in my belief, she's doing an amazing job. So who am I to say no, just because she has that privilege and she had that seat and, because of that, she got that. No. If she's gotten it by Allah's will, and she's performing her duties well, why can't we all come together and say and appreciate, okay, yes, she's doing a good job. I believe that, yes, it can be a little less marketed. If it was a little less marketed, it would have worked in her favor, but I think her political ADs are in a better position to guide her better than me. I am no one to decide whether, as a politician, she is doing well or not. I think she has an entire team who can decide it. But as a citizen, I can say that, yes, your political service should be political service. It shouldn't be a marketing stint. You need to create a fine balance between the two. And I'm pretty much sure you are so well in your position that you know better what to do than I. Me, as an individual, I'm just telling you my opinion. हर जगह पे अगर आप पब्लिसिटी ना करें और सिर्फ सर्विस करें, which you're meant to do. Because देखें, उनको शायद इस चीज़ का अंदाज़ा नहीं है कि उनका टेस्ट कितना बड़ा है. Being a political leader demands a very heavy price that you're not going to pay only here, that you're going to pay there. So if anybody would want to come and want to ask me whether you want to be a politician, I would say, please take all the money that I have and go away. Because when I go, I want to be responsible for myself and my affair.
Yeah.
I don't want to be questioned for everyone who's living in that affair, because you're going to be questioned. No?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of, what you're saying might be very controversial for some people.
Yeah.
Because again, opinions are so different. But I want to take you back to one of the controversies that you got into. Wheelchair pe aapne koi stunt pull kiya tha. Wahan kya hua tha?
Okay, let me take this medium and say I apologize sincerely. When I and Ali Raza, my brother, he had no part to play in it other than the fact that I just pulled him aside, and I had no idea that it was an ill, intended thing, that I wanted to hurt somebody. हम लोग पार्क व्हील्स का पेज नया शुरू हुआ था, मैं देख रहा होता था सुनील मंच को, एंड आई एक्चुअली वांटेड टू टेक अ डिग ऑन हिम दैट हाउ ही इंट्रोड्यूसेस कार्स, व्हिच इज सुनील मंच इज अ व्हेन इट कम्स टू सुनील मंच, आई फील लाइक उनसे बड़ा कार क्रिटिक तो पाकिस्तान में है नहीं. ही लिटरली मूव्स द मार्केट. सो आई जस्ट वांटेड टू प्लेफुली take a dig at him. Not something that, like I wanted to offend him, or I wanted to offend any other handicapped person for that matter. Toba astaghfar, nauzubillah. Again, I'm very, very frightened about the fact that I can be in their place, and an unfortunate place at a given point in time if my Lord chooses to be. So I'm very sorry. And again, the way that it was propagated, the way that it ended up happening, I think that was my punishment in itself. Okay, by even unknowingly, I made a fatal mistake, and I apologize for it. I'm very sorry.
It's wonderful. That's the best thing to do is to own up and apologize.
Yeah.
Ahmed, I want to change the course of the conversation a little bit, and I see that you're a bit of a fitness and I know that because we ended up at the same gym. Tell me a little bit more about your fitness. So where is the motivation coming from? Why do you try to keep yourself fit? And
it's a simple reason. It started off with an obsession to look good in clothes, and that is still where the obsession primarily lies. But when I was in Australia and I was doing my undergrad, I got into bodybuilding. And I got fixated with the idea that, like your face is only like 20% of your entire personality, and that this is unfortunate for Pakistan. Doesn't happen that way here. That we're not very concerned about our physiques as opposed to we are concerned so much of our face. But then I got into bodybuilding, and I got into studying the mechanics of the human body and how like protein breaks down and how it builds muscle, and that is, I think, where my journey started. And I'm just still fixated, even though on a very honest note, I haven't been to the gym in 2 weeks because of my work and stuff, and I miss it. But I feel like, because दुल्हा होता क्या है कि हम अपनी सारी जिंदगी लगा देते हैं मटीरियल वेल्थ के लिए, and we don't realize the fact, what's the most important asset we have? It's our bodies.
Our health, yeah.
It's more than that. It's our bodies. For example, if I have all the luxuries in the world, and if I'm not able to get out of this chair comfortably, all of those luxuries will not mean anything to me. Right? So I feel like ye awareness, or I'm so glad that you see that the amount of people who are going to the gyms right now is phenomenally skyrocketed.
You think so?
Yeah, a lot of people are going to the gym. Obviously not still the way that, where I would want everyone to go. वो नहीं हो रहा अभी भी. But still लोगों में awareness आ रही है. आप आज से 15 साल या 20 साल पहले चले जाएं, तो आप मुझे बताएं ना, इस्लामाबाद में इतने जिम्स थे?
नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं थे. I think थोड़ा culture तो change हो रहा है, but उसकी maybe our understanding is also a little different because we are in that circuit and we think कि अच्छा सारे everyone's working out, but maybe the culture is changing.
It is changing. I think it is changing.
I hope it's also outside like Islamabad, Karachi and Lahore. It's,
I feel like because of social media specifically. Again, this is where
that's a good point. Yeah.
This is where tools come in. अगर मैं TikTok के ऊपर positive body images को देख रहा हूँ, तो I might be be sitting in, like a small city somewhere, and I'll be like motivated, okay, yaar, I want to be this guy. I want to have a physique like that. Then I'll sort out a local gym. Or I end up making a gym for myself for, that other people can come and train. And imagine wo 100 people change hona shuru ho jaye. See, this is where I believe that smaller impacts are so much more important than bigger and larger impacts. Because देखें, आपने नोटिस किया है कि हमारे शहरों में गंद क्यों होता है घरों के बाहर? क्योंकि हम लोग अभी तक सबर्बन लाइफ में ये डिसाइड नहीं कर सके कि यार 10 हाउस ओनर्स इकट्ठे हो जाएं और डिसाइड करें दिस इज़ गोइंग टू बी आवर ड्रॉप ऑफ पॉइंट एंड वी आर गोइंग टू टेल द म्यूनिसिपल काउंसिल कि यहाँ पे हमने कचरा फेंकना है और यहाँ से उठाना है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली ये नहीं होता ना हमारी सोसाइटी में. जैसे आपका भी एक्सपीरियंस है बाहर रहने का, यूनियन काउंसिल्स होती हैं, म्यूनिसिपल काउंसिल्स होती हैं, सबर्बन काउंसिल्स होती हैं, वो लोग सारे इकट्ठे होते हैं, उसमें हाउस के ओनर्स को एक लेटर जाता है कि यार दिस इज़ गोइंग टू बी द डेज, दिस इज़ व्हाट वी डिसाइडेड. आई डोंट सी दैट स्ट्रक्चर हियर, इवन दो इफ इट्स इन प्लेस, बट आई डोंट सी इट वर्किंग दैट वेल. दैट्स द रीजन व्हाई वी हैव garbage disposal problem in our country. I feel like आप सोचें ना कितनी अनफेयर बात है. कितना खूबसूरत मुल्क है हमारा, और आपको हर खूबसूरत जगह के ऊपर किसी ना किसी चीज़ का वेस्ट नज़र आएगा. तो मैं ये सोचता हूँ ना, आपने कितना प्यारा ड्राइंग रूम बनाया हो, उसके अंदर आपने रोबर्टो कवाली के फर्नीचर पीसेस रखे हों, पराडा से, एवरीवेयर दैट वो डू सिग्नेचर लाइन्स. सब पराडा तो गलत बोल गया, बट यू डू वेरी सिग्नेचर लाइन्स, एंड देन यू दरमियान में मैं उसके अंदर जो है ना एक चिप्स का पैकेट यूँ करके क्रम्बल करके फेंक दूँ. वुड इट लुक नाइस? सिमिलरली इज द केस विद आर जितनी भी टूरिस्ट साइट्स हैं, आप वो देखें. अगर हम डिसाइड करना शुरू कर दें कि यार यू एंड आई वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू लिटर, तो आहिस्ता 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 आहिस्ता
बिल्कुल. आई थिंक लोगों की अपनी भी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, बिकॉज आई थिंक वी आर वेरी इजी टू ब्लेम द सिस्टम्स के, यू नो कि कोई सिस्टम है नहीं, कोई यू डोंट नो वेयर टू गो, वेयर
आप क्या कर रहे हैं सिस्टम के लिए, ये ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है पूछना ना, कि व्हाट आर वी डूइंग फॉर द सिस्टम
एग्जैक्टली
इंडिविजुअली.
एग्जैक्टली, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
दैट इज समथिंग वी डोंट. हम कहते हैं जी, अच्छा, सिमिलरली इज द केस विद एनी पॉलिटिकल रेवोल्यूशन, आई बिलीव. In Khan Sahib, we saw like people saw Messiah. They still do. Again, I'm apolitical. I don't really care much for it. But वो क्यों नहीं हो पाया? Why didn't it happen? Why did he not perform the way that he was supposed to perform? It is because देखें, मैं हर्ड को जितना भी एक शेपर्ड साइड पे करके सीधा कर जाए, अगर वो हर्ड डिसाइड नहीं करेगा ना कि मैंने अपनी डायरेक्शन चेंज करनी है, द हर्ड इज गोइंग ऑफ द क्लिफ फंडामेंटली. अच्छा, अब मैं ये एग्जांपल क्यों देता हूँ हर चीज़ में, ये फिटनेस में भी है, ये बिजनेस में भी है, ये पर्सनल रिलेशनशिप्स में भी है, दिस गोज एवरीवेयर. इफ आई डू नॉट डिसाइड टू डू राइट बाय एनीथिंग, इट विल नॉट गो राइट. सो फिटनेस की जर्नी भी मेरी वहाँ से शुरू हुई, और इफ आई डिसाइडेड टू मेक अ चेंज फॉर माई सेल्फ एंड आई एम कंटिन्यूइंग टू डू दैट. इट्स अ डिफिकल्ट थिंग टू डू, बट स्टिल डूइंग इट. एक्टिंग में भी यही है, परसिवियरेंस है, प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, चीज़ें, बट आई डिसाइड टू वेक अप एंड आई स्टिल डिसाइड टू डू इट. बिजनेस में भी यही है, हर चीज़ में. अब आप रिलेशनशिप्स को भी ले लें, वो भी ऐसे ही होगा. कोई भी रिलेशनशिप है, इट रिक्वायर्स एफर्ट. Without effort, it dies.
Absolutely. I mean, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Where does anybody see themselves? I generally, Abdullah, I don't want to know. I am so confident in my Lord, and I believe so much in His mercy that मैं जो सोच सकता हूँ मेरे गुमान से ज़्यादा देगा. वो मेरा रब है. मेरे से वादा किया कि मैं if I do right by him, he will do right by me. If I come one step, he will take 100 steps. So मैं कैसे डिसाइड कर सकता हूँ what's the best for me when I have my creator deciding what's the best for me, and I give my entire charge to him. He decides. So I'm literally in my life, when it comes and somebody asks me this question, where do you want to go? Wherever my Lord wants to take me. I'm just here for the ride, and I'm loving every bit of it.
Wonderful. Amit, thank you so much for being a Pakistan Observer, for candidly sharing your insights, your journey, and for being so honest. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a kind listener.
Thank you.